to Bills Postgame Live. We are presented by the divorce and estate planning law firm of Clark, Peshkin, Maddy, Glab, alongside of Steve Tasker. And the Bills fall to the Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs with a final score of 27-24. The Bills had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but that would not be enough as the Chiefs scored early in the fourth quarter. The Bills had the ball in the fourth quarter, but really couldn't get things going on offense. A heartbreaking loss by this team that will be the end of their 2023 season. And Steve, why did it happen like this?
Yeah, it was interesting because the Bills played offensively very well, and they started to just run out of defensive bullets. They had, they couldn't. I don't think they could run the defenses. They could do it, and they weren't playing as well as they wanted to up front. The linebacker, they were shifting linebackers in and out of the game. They had guys going down and coming back in. I think defensively the injuries really began to show up in this game as this game wore on. They had, I think, enough healthy bodies to begin the game, but they couldn't rotate them in and out the way they wanted to. I don't think the Bills were as fresh as they wanted to be and didn't play as sharp defensively as they wanted to. The Chiefs had, at one point, 6 20-yard plays to the Bills 0 in this game, and it was still a close game. There were, I think, at least 6 lead changes in this ball game.
Few, yeah.
And we knew it was the kind of game we thought it was going to be. It came down, and the Bills missed a field goal to tie it up late. Otherwise, it's probably going to go into overtime or very close to it. So the Bills just come up short against a very good football team. The Bills had a really nice game offensively. Josh played great. The running game was very good in the first half. But let's face it, it was a game that came up short against a really good team in their own building, and that was tough. And I think it didn't look like they were hitting all cylinders on both sides of the ball. And I think the injuries to on the outside of the defense made it look that way.
Yeah, it was the third time these two have met up in the playoffs in the Sean McDermott and Josh Allen era. The Bills are still searching for their first win against the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. The last time the Bills beat the Chiefs in the playoffs was all the way back in 1993 in the AFC Championship game. So it's been quite some time since the Bills have been able to knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs. And Steve, you talk about the offense there. The Bills gain 182 rushing yards, 186 in the air. Josh Allen finishes with 3 total touchdowns, 1 in the air, 2 on the ground. It was fun to see this offense get going right away. They were able to score with a field goal, get on the board there in the first quarter. And when you look at this team's drives, what they were able to put together, they really milked the clock. 37 minutes was their time of possession compared to Kansas City's 22 minutes and 57 seconds. It was even more lopsided in the first half. You wondered if, hey, maybe this game comes down to the Chiefs just don't get a chance because the Bills had the ball at the 2-minute warning with a chance to either tie it up or take the lead and finish the game. And you were wondering, maybe this is just a time of possession game where the Bills milk the clock and they just don't give the Chiefs enough chances on offense because, 1, the offense was working out for the Bills, and 2, the Bills' defense was injured in this game. So you were leaning on the rushing offense to be able to slow things down, but it didn't end up that way.
It played out exactly the way the Bills needed to play out. They needed to dominate time of possession. They wanted to save their defense. They wanted to make sure they could keep their defense fresh. Gave them a chance to be aggressive. Sean McDermott had a really aggressive playing call. They had a fake punt that actually ended up coming back to him with the turnover on the touchback. This game went exactly like it needed to go with the Bills' injuries on defense and the offense being able to run the football as it did. They were able to dominate the time of possession. They had 27 first downs to the Chiefs' 21. They were 50% exactly on third down conversions. They were 2 of 3 on fourth down conversions. They were 3 of 4 in the red zone. I mean, they were 2 for 2 and the goal to go. Offensively, it went exactly the way they wanted it to go. The Chiefs made a couple of plays, had a couple of tough reads for Josh that ended up in incompletions on a third down. That last field goal to get up, and Tyler Bass missed a short field goal, and we didn't get a chance to tie the game up. But that, against a really good team like the Chiefs, you've really got to play well in all phases, and the Bills just came up a little short. As well as they played in the 3 phases, they took it on the chin tonight, and that last missed kick, robbed them of their chance to tie it up.
And that final drive was 16 plays, 54 yards, almost 7 minutes off of the clock, ended in a Tyler Bass 44-yard field goal miss. Unfortunately, a heartbreaking way to end this one. But Josh Allen is on the podium, so let's get right over to Josh.
Josh, can you kind of put into words the frustration of not getting past that team again in the postseason?
Sucks. Losing sucks. Losing to them, losing to anybody at home sucks.
On the last drive, I think it was second down, you threw it to the end zone, Shakir was there. It didn't look like you wanted to go there, did you? Because it looked like you were kind of indecisive. What happened on that play?
No, I wanted to go there. I didn't have great pocket movement. Just couldn't get into the throw.
What did they do? What did they do to maybe bottle up the run game there in the fourth quarter to slow you guys down?
Showing a few different fronts. Just maybe a couple bad checks by me.
Lose at home for the second straight year to have it in your place. Does that make it sting just a lot more?
Here, there, it doesn't matter. We just losing sucks. I don't know what else to say.
Passing game, what was the problem for much of the night? They really seemed to have a good read on downfield. You had a lot of check down stuff, but it was tough to get the ball downfield.
Well, I mean, they were playing soft zone, checking it down. That's just trying to take what the defense gives us. Yeah, I mean, got to score touchdowns. I didn't think we played bad. I didn't think our team played bad. We got to make one more play, and we didn't.
Josh, you guys have been a very good team for a very long time. To get over this hump, you have been able to get over at this stage of the playoffs. Do you think it will take some small tweaks or a bigger kind of change?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big change. I think it's just, again, we gotta find a way to score one more point than they do. And every season, if you don't win, it's a failed season. That's the nature of the business. There's one happy team at the end of the season, really. And when it's not you, and you're so close, it sucks.
Josh, what do you think that Kansas City did in that last possession to get you guys off of executing there?
Which one?
The last drive.
Well, I thought we moved the ball well. We converted on a couple key third and fourth downs. Miss here or there. That's the game. They get paid on that side too to make plays. Like I said, we just got to make one more play, and we didn't.
Josh, what do you say to Tyler Bass in that situation?
I wish it wouldn't have been put in that situation. It's you win as a team, you lose as a team. One play doesn't define a game. It doesn't define a season. I know people are going to be out there saying that. We got to be there for him because, again, we execute a couple plays prior. Probably singing a different tune right now.
At the 2-minute warning, are you at that point thinking we're winning this game in regulation?
Yeah, that's the belief that we have in our guys.
You obviously just happened, but you're facing another off season, with just questions. Can you kind of put that into perspective and just going into another off season when you didn't get the job?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like every off season so far. Just got to continue to work. Quiet the noise, and this game could be taken away in an instant, and you have to enjoy each and every moment of it. I love this team. I love how resilient we were. You can sit there and say it's a failed season. A lot of up and downs that we've faced. A lot of great men that we have in this locker room. Great leaders, great husbands, great fathers. I'm proud to say that I've played with the guys in that locker room because we come into work each and every day, and we have a good time, and we could have called it quits early on in the season, and we didn't, and fought our way to get here, and again, we had to find a way to get through it.
All right, that was Josh Allen. This week's Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and tonight we are spotlighting Khalil Shakir for the game that he had against the Chiefs. He was a big-time player, had some big-time catches for this team. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 44 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Came out of the game for a second, but was able to go back in. So, Steve, why is he worth spotlighting tonight?
Well, he continues to catch the ball at a high rate. He had maybe 1 incompletion tonight on a throw, but the catch he made at the pylon, this catch to get down on a 1st and goal on the 2, nobody outside the replay booth thought he caught this ball, and he sure did, and it ended up being a touchdown. And then this catch at the corner in the end zone, this is the only touchdown caught on Ladarius Sneed all season, and it was Shakir in the playoffs. Josh Allen lasers this in. Shakir pulls it in. 2 incredibly difficult catches, and he continues to catch everything you throw at him, even after being nicked. As we saw, he caught a huge 4th down conversion later in the game after he'd gone out with an injury and gone into the tunnel. So he came back out, got back on the field, and caught a critical 4th down conversion on that final drive. Khalil really closed the season on a high note.
Yeah, when Allen targeted Khalil Shakir, he had a 139.6 passer rating, which is the highest in the NFL this season among quarterback and wide receiver duos. All right, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer are on the podium, so let's hear what they had to say after this one.
Micah, I guess it's just the feeling after not getting past that team again and the way that it went down. What are you guys feeling in that locker room right now?
I mean, it really doesn't matter the team at this point. Just losing, it doesn't matter if it could be any other team out there. Losing in the playoffs is always tough, no matter who it is. And been in this league a long time, so you realize how hard it is to make it back here. What we had to win, 7 straight, 6 straight, whatever the hell it was, to get back to this point. Not to mention the roster changes every season, so it's always tough.
Is it shock right now? Is it heartbreak? Is it kind of some combination of all of them?
Everything. Obviously, I'm extremely proud of the guys in the locker room. This to be at 6-6 and fight our way back is incredible. And I mean, this obviously isn't our goal to lose in the second round, but extremely proud of the guys. And same thing, sad, felt like it was, once again, this team 2023 was going to get it done and came up a little short.
Jordan, when you forced that fumble at the goal line or just in front of the goal line, is that when you kind of thought the tides turned and maybe the game flipped?
I mean, obviously, it was what they call it, a 4-point swing. Anytime you get a takeaway in the red zone, it kept them from going up, I believe, 10 points. I wouldn't want to say it's a swing or offense. I mean, it was just a good play in the game. Whether you want to say it's a swing or not, the game was just going back and forth really all day. Ultimately, they made one more play than us.
Jordan, this thing's minutes old, and it's tough to answer this question. But to get over the hump against this team, all these games, Jordan, like you just said, are back and forth. It's, down. What with your experience and everything else, do you think it takes for this team to kind of get over the top in the postseason against Kansas?
Play better, make more plays. These type of games, really, that's what it comes down to. Is they always come down to who's going to make or not make the last play of the game. I didn't watch the game earlier today, but I'm assuming it came down to the wire. Whoever's making the last plays of the game usually ends up winning. And we just, defensively, we didn't make enough plays to help our offense and put them in good field position to help them out.
You guys were able to, get some stops going there in that second half. What adjustments
did you guys make in that second half to get those necessary stops to get the offense back the ball?
I mean, just going out there basically saying, like, you know, they were driving at will on us. Our offense was driving at will on them. We had to find a way to get a couple stops in the second half. Obviously, J. Poe's huge play in the red zone, taking off points, and then 3 and out. After we thought we had a 3 and out, another 3 and out. So, you know, we just had to say enough is enough and had to get it done.
How tough is it for you two guys? You've been here for 7 years, probably, I would say, the best safety tandem that I've ever seen here, 30 years covering the Bills. How tough is it right now?
I mean, just lost in the playoffs to a team that, you know, that's kicked us out. I think this is the third time they've got us out of the playoffs. I mean, it's tough. You work so hard throughout the season to fight and claw back. You know, our back's against the wall. Everybody doubting us midway through the season, and we get here, and I mean, just that close. You know, it is tough. You know, it's something to learn from for sure, and you know, it's tough.
Jordan, what do you have to say about playing alongside 23 there for the past 7 years?
How much time do we got? I mean, just my brother, man, my teammate, man, my right-hand man, dude. I just learned so much football from him, and coming in here in 2017, you know, I just remember him being in Green Bay and him wearing 33, and I wore 33 in Cleveland, and our special teams coach used to always say that I played like Micah Hyde, and so I always watch him playing. Every time Green Bay's playing, I'm like 33, and then we met the year before we came out here, and it was just kind of, it's surreal that we're 7 years later, you know, to even be considered the top safety duo in your 30 years of covering. I mean, that's just, it's super dope. We had a plan when we came in here that we really wanted to change this culture and change this organization into a winning program. And you could argue to say that we have. I mean, we've gone to the playoffs the last 6 out of 7 years out here. That's, I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself. Obviously, you want to win the Super Bowl, but, you know, prior to us being here, I mean, a lot of guys being here, and Buffalo hadn't gone to the playoffs in 17 years. And, I mean, we're right there. You know, the fans can feel it. The team can feel it. I mean, we went to that game, felt like we were loose. Obviously, it's a great football team, but just came up a little short. So, but it's my guy right here. We're going to be tied in for life. And I can't say enough good things about him and about him and his family.
Question for both of you. Have you thought about what the future might hold for either of you?
No.
Obviously, it's right after the game, and we don't really know. You know, like I said before, rosters change each and every year. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the business. It's part of the business. Each and every year, after you lose, after you win, and you know, it's tough to even take my head there, because it's then comes the frustration as far as not being able to get it done with this group of guys that we've been here. You know, with J. Poe, myself, Tre'Davious, D-Dog, Reed, and Milano, I think, are the original 2017 guys, and sprinkle in Josh in 18 and Taryn in 18, and you just have that nucleus of guys that have been here for so long, and we're able to change the culture. And yeah, obviously, we're not going to get into detail about changing the culture right now because we just lost. But like J. Poe said, being 17 years without playoffs and going 6-7, we're, you know, forever embedded to each other, and we're brothers on and off the field.
It is really tough to see Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer up there, and to think about what they have done since coming to the Bills, the OGs of Sean McDermott's players, some of the first few guys who came to Buffalo with a hope and a dream, and they were able to change the culture, turn this place around to a team who was constantly and consistently going to the playoffs, contending for the Super Bowl. But within that, there's bigger dreams. There's dreams to make it to the Super Bowl. There's dreams to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and it just hasn't happened for this group yet. And Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are in their 7th season together, and you wonder what their future looks like. You wonder, are they going to be together next season? And Micah Hyde talked about, you know, the frustration of thinking about the future, but then also thinking about the frustration of I haven't been able to do it with this group yet, and I want to do it with this group, and the fans are right behind them thinking that as well. I mean, Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, some of these players have been here for 7 seasons together, and you have the group, you have the nucleus, you have the guys who can be able to do it, you have the talent, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened yet this season. And you look at this year and what the team went through, 6-6 heading into the bye week, able to run the table after that, find themselves into an AFC East championship, and then get into the playoffs, win a playoff game, host another playoff game, and unfortunately get knocked out. And the defense suffered so many injuries this year, and it looked like they were hobbling along in this game against the Chiefs, suffering even more injuries throughout this game, guys coming in and out, and they just couldn't put it together. And Sean McDermott did a great job of calling the defense with what he had, and they believed so much in the backups, and the backups did an incredible job for those 7 weeks. But tonight against the Chiefs, against a big play offense, it didn't work out.
Yeah, and you think about what happened. You could see it when they leave Travis Kelce. Because of a communication issue, they leave Travis Kelce uncovered. Travis Kelce. They left him completely uncovered on a broken coverage, and he ends up catching a touchdown on the play. They were a big play offense tonight, which is not indicative of what the Bills' defense has been throughout the season. The Chiefs averaged 7.7 per play. They only had 47 offensive plays. The Bills had 78 offensive plays. The Chiefs averaged 7.7, as they said, yards per carry per play, and the Bills averaged 4.7 yards per play. It was a game that unfolded. Unfortunately, when you get to this level, and the Bills have found this out. You get to this level, you get exposed by a team who has the weapons to expose you, and defensively is the last place you want to go into a game against the Kansas City Chiefs injured, and certainly it showed tonight. Hats off to the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce in the year when their offense, by their standards, looked clunky and inconsistent during the season. They still managed to win that division, get in, and once again, the Bills and the Chiefs meet in the playoffs, and the Bills walk away on the short end of the stick.
0-3 now against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Mitch Morse is on the podium, or actually in the locker room, so let's get over to him.
Team won't have an opportunity to play together again, and that's a shame.
What do you think? You guys were having your way in the first half running the ball, it seemed like, but a little more of a struggle in the second half. What was going on there?
It's a good question. I don't know totally. You're so focused on trying to get everyone in position, doing your thing, and then so it'll be something that I wish I could answer. I think they made a good game plan adjustment. They were flying downhill at the second level, and they just out-execute us at the end, and that's why they're continuing. We're going home.
Season-ending loss is always sting. They're always raw emotions. This one, just a quick feel of the room, feels like it's hitting harder. Do you sense that?
I no, it's always hard. Always hard.
Is it always this silent in the locker room after a loss?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, that was Bills center Mitch Morse, who started his career with the Kansas City Chiefs and got to be the center alongside of Patrick Mahomes for one season before coming to Buffalo. And he went to the Kansas City Chiefs, was able to make the playoffs there, and then went to a team who was consistently making the playoffs in the Bills. He's a big part of this offense, a big part of what Josh Allen is able to do, because those two have been working together for quite some time now in Buffalo. And Steve, where does this team go from here? I mean, it's tough because they've been to the divisional round of the playoffs for 4 straight seasons, and now in 3 of those, they haven't been able to make it to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and it's disappointing, no question about it. They're a talented group, and whatever specific reason it is, every year you got to find a way to be better than the other team on that day. The Chiefs are very good at that with Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and their head coach Andy Reid have a great symmetry about them that gets them through tough spots, tough stretches in their regular season, and it carries them through in the playoffs. And the Bills they're still a really good football team, but there's no question we say it every year, and I emphasize it after every year, that even all these years they've lost to the Chiefs and the one they lost to the Houston Texans, and this team's, it's not going to be the same next year. You're going to have a lot of new faces, new draft picks, new free agents. You're going to lose some guys because their contracts expire. You got a ton of guys on one-year deals. It's going to be a very different roster next year. But for now, I can sit back and appreciate the ride this team took us on this year. This last month and a half, 2 months, has been a fantastic journey, and I'm going to miss this. This is always a fun team to watch play. Bill, with all the angst and all the stuff we had going into the divisional round of the playoffs, and this uncharted territory, we're going to have them at home. It's so fun to be a part of, and the angst was so real. I'm going to enjoy this for a minute, even though it's a tough loss. I'm going to appreciate these times because, I know that as hard as it is to handle these and as sad as it is, these aren't the worst of times.
No.
You got a good football team, and they're going to be good again next year. But they gave us a great ride this year.
Yeah, great group led by great men. They were able to run the table at the end of the season, win 6 out of their last 7, earn an AFC East title, host 2 home playoff games. A lot of NFL teams can't say the same. All right, Tyler Bass is in the locker room, so we'll go over to him.
In the locker room, nothing but love. We have a special bond in this building, and I'm forever grateful for that. Forever grateful to be a Buffalo Bill, and disappointed now and it hurts now, and I'm gonna let this fuel me going into the off season, and do everything I can to just keep going.
Tyler, you had one block last week. You missed one last week as well. Where was your confidence here at the end of the season?
Confidence was high. Had a good week of practice. Made some adjustments. Felt good going into the game. Just ultimately didn't work out.
Does anything with Sam's injury and maybe him not being as available impact at all the whole thing or anything?
No. Sam. I got to salute him for even playing. He had a really bad strain, and he even toughed it out and got there. So honestly, the fact that he was there, I was very grateful for, and I was excited for.
How much do the elements factor into the way the operation and just the way you go about it?
I mean, the elements are always going to be a factor. But when you're Buffalo Bill, you have to get used to it. You have to learn it. We've been learning it for 4 years. We just didn't execute tonight.
What was it in particular with your operation that made you feel like it went well?
Snap was good. Hold was great. Like I said, I got to play it a little bit more left when it's a left to right one.
How tough is it, knowing the season you had to get these guys here after what happened a couple of years ago and the way the season ended, to be walking out of here like this tonight?
It hurts, man. It hurts. It's a feeling that I can't even describe. It's a tough feeling, but you just got to keep your head high.
It was arguably one of the biggest kicks in your career. How much did pressure and nerves play into that for you?
No, I felt good. Felt good going out there. Felt confident. Really trusted my process. But like I said, it just didn't work out.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, that was Tyler Bass. A tough end of the game for him as he was lining up to kick a 44-yard field goal with a chance to tie things up with less than 2 minutes to go left in the game, and it was wide right, no good. But this game does not fall on Tyler Bass's shoulders. There were missed opportunities within that drive where the Bills could have got it in the end zone. There were also missed opportunities throughout the game. You can't say it comes down to just one play when you're playing for 4 quarters.
No, I mean, when you're on a team like the one the Bills are on, where they have high expectations, they got a great culture going in. Everybody goes in the showers and they look at themselves in the mirror and say, "Man, I wish I'd have made this other play. I wish I would have made my opportunity." Steph Diggs has got one catch, done the long catch on that last drive. He had a chance to pull that in, couldn't do it. I'm sure he'll think about that. I know other players will as well. Just one more missed tackle, one more made play, and nobody looks at Tyler Bass and says he's 100% of the reason we lost this game. So, but except Tyler Bass, Tyler will look at himself and he'll take it hard, and you always do, and that's why you're a pro. This game, like we've been talking about, this is the kind of game you knew it was going to be. You knew it was going to be like 6 lead changes in this game.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff going on. Players being hurt. Guys who are already filling in, going down. The Bills tried to go a fake punt, ultra aggressive, and tried to run a fake punt that was unsuccessful. Going for it on 4th down where they were successful. Guys going off hurt, coming back in the game and playing well afterward. It was a rough and tumble game, and it was exactly the kind of game you knew it was going to be. It was going to be a 1-score game, and you're going to have to make a play at the end to win it. And the Bills missed their opportunity.
Yeah, we were heading over to the studio after the end of the 3rd quarter, and we were looking at each other saying, this is going to come down to whoever turns it over first or whoever holds on to the ball as the clock is ticking down to 0. It was that type of game, going back and forth with each other. Whoever has the ball has the potential to score. Yeah. And when it came to the Chiefs and what they were able to do successfully on offense, you wanted to see more out of the Bills' pass rush. Mm-hmm. This group had such a great season with the pressure they were able to bring with 4. They finished top 3 in sacks and quarterback hits. They blitzed at a low rate but got pressure at a high rate. And against the Chiefs tonight, you just didn't see that come out. And it was something we were all hoping for leading up to this game, knowing, hey, you're facing Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't been that great under pressure this season with a passer rating under 60 when facing pressure in 2023, so maybe that's one of the keys to getting a victory over the Chiefs, and we didn't see as much pressure as we have seen earlier in the season from that group, from that front 4.
Yeah, and it's going to be, by the very structure of how the roster's been put together, it's going to look very different next year. Leonard Floyd is on a 1-year contract. Jordan Phillips is on a 1-year contract. Daquan Jones is finished. His contract is up after this year. Ed Oliver is the only one that's in a long-term contract on those front 4, and Von Miller will be back. It's going to look very different up front. You're going to have Tre'Davious White healthy. You're going to have Matt Milano healthy coming back. Tre'Davious White ostensibly will be healthy if he can come back from an Achilles. It's a tough comeback. It's going to look very different on the roster this next year. Offensively, it may look very similar,
right,
except from the jump. They'll have guys they can depend on right out front. They won't have to find out about Khalil Shakir or Dalton Kincaid
or some of those
or
new
James
pieces
Cook
on the offensive line.
And the offensive line will have a year under its belt, and those guys are all coming back
Connor
as well.
McGovern, Osiris Torrance.
Yes, so they're going to be in a good spot on offense with their personnel. Defensively, it's going to be, it'll be completely rinsed through.
It will.
Yeah.
Yep, you could see that reflected in free agency, in the draft, depending on who stays, depending on who goes. A big question mark for the offense is going to be the offensive coordinator position. Are they going to hang on to Joe Brady, or are they going to do a search? We'll see what happens, but the offense did find some success once Joe Brady took over. They were able to win 6 straight games, 5 straight in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs. Unfortunately, this last one, they weren't able to hold on. Khalil Shakir is in the locker room, one of the big players on this Bills offense in tonight's game against the Chiefs. So let's hear what he had to say after tonight.
It sucks. It's all the sad emotions you can think of. I'm having trouble. Just sucks, man. We're that close, and just couldn't come out on top.
What's got to change to get over the hump here? Get past this level.
I don't know, man. I couldn't even give you a straight up answer on that right now.
Josh said he couldn't get into the throw towards the end there. You were, and so can you walk us through that play a little bit, what you guys were trying to accomplish there?
I just ran a post and just didn't connect on it.
Khalil, how frustrating is it the fact that you guys get this game at home and then that comes this? Just how frustrating is that?
I mean, of course, we want to do everything for Bills Mafia. Their love of sport means everything to us. And we would be nothing without them. So, we deeply appreciate them. Just couldn't pull it out.
It feel like a game where you guys were going to score almost every time you needed to touch every time you touched the ball, knowing who was on the other side.
I mean, we felt great what we were doing. We just came up short.
Your game, 7 catches, 44 yards. yards, missed some time with an injury, but able to get back in. Did you feel pretty good about what you were able to accomplish?
Obviously, I wish I could have done more, just so we could come out on top.
Why was it so difficult to get the ball downfield and pass them? There was a lot of check down. It was hard to get the ball downfield.
KC's a good defense. They're a good team. Their defense is really good with what they were able to do. So hats off to them.
Your touchdown there, just walk us through that play if you could.
Yeah, it's more of a fade scramble drill. Came back down and Josh put it on the money.
It's like a couple chances at some longer plays and longer throws, but overall, they will able to limit your explosive gains. Anything that they were doing on defense specifically to take away long passes, longer plays, that kind of thing.
So they're a good, well-coached team, good disciplined team. They play together. Hats off to them.
So the result wasn't what you wanted, but Josh made a bunch of big plays tonight, found you on multiple of them. What did you learn about him, or how would you describe what he did tonight?
I love 17. I love 17 with everything I got. He's a dog. You got a guy like him leading. It's just amazing just to know the guy he is and the football player he is. He goes above and beyond to make sure that he does his part. He's the best.
What goes through your mind when you see him throwing those balls that seem like they're going to hit the ground and somehow they end up in your hands instead?
When 17 got the ball in his hands, anything can happen.
All right, that was wide receiver Khalil Shakir, who caught 7 passes for 44 yards and had a touchdown tonight. And I think that's one of the bright spots for this team on this offense this season, was to see how he was kind of able to come out and shine within this offense. Some of the catches that he had tonight, a couple incredible ones. One that looked like it wasn't even a catch, but when they reviewed it, it was obviously a catch. The hands that he has shown that he has. He's a player that I want on this team because of what he's able to do. He led the NFL in catch rate this season. 86.7%, led for catch rate among wide receivers. And when Josh Allen was targeting him, Josh Allen had a 139 passer rating. That's the best in the NFL this season among wide receiver and quarterback duos. You want somebody like that, a part of your offense.
Yeah, he had 9 targets, 7 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown, a long of 13. He caught a lot of short balls, but he does show a really good run after catch ability, which you got to like, and that's something that they haven't had out of that slot spot. Even Cole Beasley wasn't really a good run after catch guy. Shakir does seem to have a little of that. There's a lot to look forward to in this offense going forward with Kincaid, with Shakir and Cook all in the mix, along with Steph Diggs, of course. Gabe Davis will be a free agent. And I think Sherfield is signed a 1-year deal. So it's a lot of new faces going to be here next year, but the core group of guys going forward look to be young and pretty exciting players to going forward. This game in particular, with the plays that they ran, it'll be interesting to see what they do at offensive coordinator, whether Joe Brady is the guy going forward or whether they open up and say, listen, we like you, Joe. We'd love you to be here, but we're going to talk to some other people as well. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. It wouldn't surprise me if they said just took the interim tag off of his title and made him the offensive coordinator. There's no guarantees that they have, or nothing says they have to do that, particularly with the coaching carousel in full swing now with the teams that are out of the playoffs.
When you look at the offense and what the Bills did offensively tonight, what did you like about Joe Brady's call? That he mixed in the pass and the run quite a bit. You saw after the first quarter, I want to say, pretty lopsided in terms of rushing yards versus passing yards. So they kind of set the table there with running the football, but continued to do so throughout the game. 182 rushing yards to 186 passing yards. You saw the run become, I don't want to call it a focal part of the offense, but you saw the run become a lot more important, a bigger priority within the offense when Joe Brady took over. So first, what did you think of the way that he called the offense tonight against a tough, one of the best in the NFL Chiefs defense?
Tough defense. They're a top 5 defense against the pass. They're bottom 3rd against the run. So you knew that you'd test them a little bit in that. And certainly the Chiefs at times stepped up and you hand it off and all of a sudden there's nothing there. But then too, I mean, you got a guy, Josh Allen had 72 yards on 12 carries. James Cook, 18 carries for 61 yards for 3.5 yards a carry. Ty Johnson had 7 carries for 40 yards. It's almost 6 yards a carry.
Right.
Certainly, it's 5.5 yards a carry. They made some hay in the running game, and they stayed with it because the game was going back and forth. It was a tight game. They wanted to keep the ball. They wanted to stay on the field. The running game became a weapon that they used to drain the game away. With the injuries they suffered on defense, even when you look at the statistics and the explosive plays that the Chiefs got, it's exactly the opposite of where the Bills usually are defensively. So they were way out of character tonight because of the injuries and because they were facing also the Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, they allowed the second least amount of passing touchdowns this season. I want to say they were middle of the pack in big plays. I'll look that up. But Spencer Brown is talking to reporters in the locker room, so let's go right over to the offensive lineman.
Can't get... We were staying drives, and those drives we didn't do anything is when we had negative plays. So, and when they're negative, there are 4 or 5 losses. So, you can't do that against a good team. You can't do that in the playoffs. Stalled once we got to the 30 a couple times. So, I haven't watched the tape or anything like that, but I'm just flushing it right now.
Did you notice that they were doing anything different against the run game in the second half? Spencer seemed like he has a little bit a harder time running the ball in the second half.
That's like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure they made some adjustments. What those were, I'm not 100% sure right now. We felt confident throughout the whole game with the run game. We started running there, and late in the fourth quarter, I know we stalled. Third quarter a little bit, but we figured it out, just a little short.
Last drive was the game plan to, all right, let's get the clock all the way down, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. You didn't want to give them back the ball?
That's not related to us. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that makes sense, I guess. I don't know exactly what the game plan was. They call it, we haul it, so that's what that is.
You look around the locker room, obviously, there'll always be changes. That's part of the business. Is that what makes it always tougher in a night like this?
100%. The loss sucks. It does. Season's over, everything like that, but it hurts more. I just sat here in the locker room and just embraced it. The guys, like I said, aren't going to be here. It's not like college where just the senior class is gone. There's going to be a lot of changes. It always is. It's always turnover every year. So, the loss does suck, but losing guys, losing friends, losing brothers that you spent a whole year with, you grind with, you went through the up and down, you went through all that stuff. So, that hurts a lot more than the loss for me.
To not have Gabe in these last couple of games, what did that mean, not having him out there?
Obviously playmaking ability, but as well as leadership on the field. Energy he brings. We missed it out there. Guys stepped up. Guys made plays like they were supposed to, like they were doing their job. We missed him out there for sure.
Truly how...
All right, that was Bills offensive lineman Spencer Brown. We were talking about big plays heading into that Spencer interview, and they tied for 11th, allowing just 57 plays of 20 or more yards. So near top 10 in terms of what the defense allowed in the regular season. Now against the Chiefs, they gave up quite a few big plays tonight. All right, Sean McDermott is on the podium, so let's get right over to him.
Obviously came up on the short end tonight. Give the Chiefs credit. And, didn't play the way we needed to, I thought, in 2 of the 3 phases, defensively first and special teams. And I thought offensively did some really good things, some plays still left out there. But overall, I saw our offense, I thought they had a productive night overall. Moved the football, possessed the football, which we knew we had to do against Mahomes and the offense. But overall, we didn't do enough defensively to impact the game more than we could have. And I felt overall it started up front. We allowed them to be a two-dimensional offense in the run game in particular, and hit some big runs on us, and that was not like us throughout the other parts of the season. So. But I'm grateful for the fan support this year, for the fans tonight. Obviously not the result we wanted to give everyone, but I'm very grateful for the support all season long.
Sean, what was the challenge of your linebacker
scraping, and then you lost a couple during the game.
Well, it was kind of like how it's been most of the year. I mean, guys were going down early, and then throughout the season, and the guys battled, and just wasn't enough tonight. But in the course of the game, I think Tyrell went down first, and then AJ, and then AJ came back there. So and Tyrell came back. So it's just what you deal with.
Hey, Sean, 12 short in this round for the third straight year. Is the disappointment grow each year, or are you still confident that this team keeps chipping away, they'll break through?
Yeah, I'm confident in this team. I'm confident in Josh. We have to continue to grow, and I think a piece of you want to get to a game like this as healthy as you possibly can. That's not the reason why we lost, however. Again, we just didn't do enough defensively or special teams wise enough to impact the game.
Sean, what went into the decision on the fake punts?
Yeah, I just felt like we were having a hard time stopping them, and they were up 3 at the time, I believe it was, and wanted to be aggressive. You only get one chance, and so I wanted to be aggressive. Obviously, it didn't work, but it's a decision I made, and you live with it. So then we made fortunate enough to make the stop there, which got the ball back for us.
When you guys said keeping the offense out, and for the sake of being aggressive, why, I guess, choose the special teams option instead of the offense?
Yeah, just, again, hadn't done it. The element of surprise maybe a little bit there, We felt good about the look going into the week. So I understand what you're saying about keeping Josh out there. So it's just where we were on the field in relation to the element of surprise in that situation. Again, obviously we didn't execute. We didn't get it done there, but I'm just going to be aggressive.
You mentioned the struggles on special teams. It came back to cost you in the end. What did you see on that operation on the missed field goal?
Yeah, it just looked like it got pushed right from the start. I thought a couple of the extra points were going right a little bit also, and that wind blows usually left to right in that part of the stadium there, and that's where the ball went.
Are you concerned about Tyler's confidence at all, at the way that the season has kind of ended for him?
No, and we have full confidence in Tyler. He's kicked well for us over the years. I thought he came out early and was kicking well. The ball's coming off his foot well, and then the ball started to fade a little bit, in some of those extra points, and then the last kick, as you saw.
What went into the decision to have Sam play tonight while he was dealing with that injury?
So we did a workout with Sam. We held through the week there and tried to give him as much time as we could, and then the training staff performed a workout with Sam and deemed him able to kick, and so that's what we went with.
What was the philosophy on that final possession that you had in terms of the clock management and willingness for field goal versus getting aggressive or trying to do a little bit more with the touchdown?
Are you saying leading up to that point or after? Or
Yeah, leading, because you, based on what you were doing, you obviously wanted to work the clock.
Yep.
Is what the yin and the yang was on going for yardage versus working the clock.
Well, we wanted yards. You always want yards and points first, and as many points as you can get. The clock is a secondary thought, but a thought, no doubt. Against a quarterback like Patrick, you want to obviously leave him as minimal time as possible. But the first and most important thing is points.
Sean, this has been a really good team for a really long time. But to get past this phase of the postseason, to get past the Chiefs, do you think it's going to take some small tweaks here and there, or is there something structural, something bigger that has to change?
Well, no, we'll look at things like we always do, and we've got to continue to work at it. That's where it starts. Is focus on. Obviously, the season just got over, but we'll turn over every leaf this offseason, and I'm fully confident in this football team, fully confident in our staff, and we're within a whisker of tying that game, and maybe even taking the lead there against the defending world champ. So. Again, we just didn't do enough, starting with me, just didn't do enough tonight to win this game.
You've been in this spot before. As the defensive coordinator this year, the offense scores 24 points. You mentioned it was tough to get stops in this game. How much responsibility do you feel in this moment, and the defense in general?
100%. That starts with me as the head coach. Number one, just like if the offense had a similar night. If they did, it starts with me, and I take full responsibility. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. 100% is we didn't do enough to win the game.
What did you see from their defense that allowed them to take Stephon Diggs pretty much out of the game?
They got a good defense. They're well coached. They fly around, and they've got different coverage looks, blitz looks. So they have some players that do some up front with Chris Jones and some of the rushers, and then the back end they've got some athletic guys that move around. And Steph had a couple opportunities, I thought, and so Steph I thought had a good postseason here for us.
Coach, you made some good adjustments in that second half. They was trying to run a lot of corner routes in that first half. What adjustments did you do in the second half that found some success defensively for you guys?
Well, I just think overall, when we were able to get them into a third down, we were able to win those situations, but we couldn't get them into third down enough. And, we finally made a couple stops midway through that fourth quarter there, and but again, not enough. It usually starts up front and at the line of scrimmage, and I didn't think we did enough there. And then because of that, it becomes a two-dimensional game where they're winning too many first downs, staying on schedule, in particular in the run game, and then you're having to defend the run and the pass at the same time, which gets difficult.
You got those looks. How was Saran Hill on third down?
Yeah, getting Saran out there helped us, covering Kelsey, and again, I think they were 1 for 5 on third downs, and the challenge was we just couldn't get them into third down enough, and which is surprising. Just the run game overall, I thought was the biggest issue in run fundamentals.
There's a lot of excitement of getting the Chiefs, getting a chance to play the Chiefs here. What's the level of disappointment that didn't go that way?
I'm extremely disappointed. Yeah, you put so much time into this. You put so much time into a season, let alone this game and the preparation for it, and to come out and to not perform the way I'd hoped we would have. It's extremely disappointing and frustrating, and it's a type of situation in our business where you got to spend the whole off season thinking about it. But it drives you harder, if that's even possible to drive someone harder. It drives you harder to come back next season and continue to work at it. There's only one team at the end of all this that's happy. I can tell you that. I've been to 2 Super Bowls, and there's only one team that's happy. So it's that type of business, and you keep working at it.
You mentioned the fake punt. Part of it was, it was tough to get stops. At what point in this game did you kind of start to maybe waver in your confidence in your defense to get those stops? No, never. Never. They've been battling all season long, through injuries, through adversity, whatever it's been, and they've stepped up. And I'm extremely proud of them for that. Tonight we didn't do enough, starting with me, and so I wouldn't trade any one of those guys or tell you that I'm not confident in those guys. I am extremely confident. All right, thanks.
All right, that was the Bills head coach Sean McDermott saying he's extremely disappointed that the team couldn't get business done here in their own home place, home turf at Highmark Stadium, finally getting the Chiefs here for a home playoff game, saying that it starts with him and then goes elsewhere, but says that he still believes quite a bit in this team and the guys that he has in this locker room. He spoke quite a bit this season leading up to this game and during the win streak about the resiliency that this team showed, and I think it was so cool to witness what this group was able to do when they were 6-6 heading into the end of the season and were able to completely turn it around to form a close bond with each other inside the locker room, not worry about what people on the outside were saying, and just really focusing on each other and how they can move forward, pick up some more wins, and find a way to get into the playoffs and earn another AFC East title. This group did quite a bit in the back half of the season.
Yeah, and when they were 6-6, and Joshua was confronted with a question of what makes you think you guys can do this, and he said, we've done it before, and they did it again. They ran 5 straight wins off against, and were 5-1 against playoff teams. Coming down the stretch of the regular season, they got a chance to play the 7 seed last week in the Pittsburgh Steelers and beat them, and won another playoff game, as they seem to do every year. They win one and lose one lately, outside of the AFC Championship games visit they had 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. This is a team that, and I know this too, and you read you've got a timeline on social media just like I do. You know, there's a lot of reaction on there, and a lot of it's really, you know, emotional. And people are saying, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to. You know, this team is going to change a lot this offseason. There's a ton of guys that are on one-year deals and with contracts expiring, and they are like $44 million over the cap. So a lot of people feel like this team is going to go away for a year or two. I'm not quite ready to say that. As long as they've got, I think as long as they've got number 17 there, and there are a bunch of guys offensively, the offensive line and the guys on the offense, a lot of those guys they're going to come back and be fine. As long as those guys are there, they're going to have a chance in every game they play next year. The defense, a lot of question marks about what that roster is going to look like. But if you want a lot of changes, you really don't have to ask too much, because they're going to have to make those because of the way the roster is right now.
All right, this week's wildcard game against the Chiefs is presented by this year's playoff presenting sponsor, Northtown Automotive Companies, the official automotive dealer of the Buffalo Bills. And that's going to do it for us for this season. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you guys next year.